Hello to all the viewers of the channel today. I'm going to share with you a thrilling story. Finally, CEO Toan's mother has been arrested by the police. After years of hiding and plotting against her own son, she could no longer escape the consequences. However, the story doesn't end here. Toan, the brilliant CEO, has now lost his memory and is living in chaos alongside an old homeless woman. He remembers nothing about his past, not even to Diem, the woman he once loved deeply, who has been lost in the shadows of his mind. Meanwhile, Diem, unaware of Toan's situation, is left in a hopeless wait. She stands in the midst of the long, endless days, hoping that one day she will be able to find the man she loves. Will Toan recover his memory and recognize Diem before it's too late? Will they overcome the barriers and challenges to find each other in this complex and painful world? Every step in this story reveals secrets never told before. Don't miss out on this emotional and surprising journey. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel so you can follow every exciting twist in the story where the truth will finally be revealed. You'll be the first to witness the truth and all the secrets behind it. The chief of police sat across from Toan's mother, his gaze cold yet resolute. In the tense atmosphere of the interrogation room, the air seemed to choke as she sat there silently, her hands tightly clenched. She tried to maintain her composure, but the wrinkles on her face betrayed the anxiety she could not hide. "Ma'am, we've received information about the disappearance of your son, Toan. Can you tell us when was the last time you saw him?" The chief spoke calmly but firmly. Toan's mother took a deep breath, her eyes drifting to her hands. "The last time I saw him was early that morning. He said he had something to take care of, but he'd be back soon," she replied, trying to keep her voice steady, but her answer was far from convincing. "Then why did you tell us that he left the night before when we asked again? Your story doesn't seem to match." The chief continued, his sharp gaze not missing a single detail. Toan's mother fell silent, her eyes darting around as if searching for a reasonable explanation. I must have been confused because of the stress. I didn't think much about it at the time." She lowered her head, trying to hide her anxiety. "Then can you explain why there were no calls from Toan after he left? Do you remember anything about your conversation with him?" The chief pressed, not letting go. Toan's mother forced a smile, her eyes slightly red, but the tension in her was becoming more evident. I don't really remember. I just know he said he'd call back, but I never heard from him." The chief jotted down notes in his book, his expression unreadable. "You need to think carefully because these details might help us uncover the truth. If you have anything else to add, now is the time." Toan's mother lowered her head, her eyes filled with sorrow. "I have nothing more to say. I don't know anything." Toan's mother sat silently. Her hands still clenched, her head slightly lowered, as if she didn't want to face the barrage of questions coming at her. The chief of police continued to observe her, his gaze never leaving her. Meanwhile, the other officers stood still, silently paying attention to every word. "Ma'am," the chief spoke calmly but firmly. "We've checked your phone, and there were several calls made the night Toan disappeared. One of the calls was from an unknown number. Can you explain that?" Toan's mother flinched, her eyes briefly, flickering with panic, but only for a moment. She took a deep breath, trying to regain her composure, her lips moving slightly, as if searching for an explanation. I don't know. Maybe someone dialed by mistake. She mumbled, her head lowered, not looking the officers in the eye. By mistake. Why would there be a call from an unknown number the very night Toan disappeared? The chief continued, not letting her off the hook. And why didn't you mention this call to us from the start? Toan's mother remained silent for a long while, a storm brewing in her mind. How many times had she told herself to stay quiet, to hide everything? Because she feared that if the truth came out, neither she nor Toan would have a chance of escaping. But now facing the officers, she began to feel like there was no way out. I didn't think it was important. She finally responded, her voice wavering. It was just a wrong number. I didn't think it had anything to do with Toan. The chief raised an eyebrow, his eyes never leaving her. You really think a wrong number could happen the very night Toan went missing? Are you hiding something? Toan's mother looked up, her eyes filled with confusion, but she didn't answer immediately. The fear in her grew stronger. She knew every word she said was being scrutinized, but she also knew that if she couldn't keep quiet any longer, the truth would slowly start to come out. I have nothing to hide, she said quietly. I just want this to end. The chief didn't respond right away. He just watched her, as if waiting for her to say more. Finally, his voice came again, even firmer this time. Are you sure you don't know anything about what happened to Toan? Are you involved in your son's disappearance? She froze, her calm facade beginning to crack. The guilt and fear started to overwhelm her. She remembered what had happened that night. Everything still felt like a nightmare, as if she had been sucked into a game she couldn't escape. No, I'm not involved, Toan's mother said, but her voice lacked the confidence it once had. Toan left for his own reasons. I didn't interfere. Yet a part of her knew she was lying to herself. Every answer she gave felt dishonest. Another officer standing nearby spoke up. We've interviewed several people in the area. One neighbor remembers hearing a loud argument the night before Toan disappeared. Can you explain that? Toan's mother stopped breathing, her eyes blankly staring at the table. An argument? She asked, her voice hoarse, as if she didn't want to remember it. I don't know anything about any argument. It definitely wasn't that, the chief repeated. A neighbor heard it. And we also checked the security cameras near your house. There was a shadowy figure coming and going that night, and it seems like you met with that person. Can you tell us more about that? She choked up, her face paling. Everything felt like it was falling apart before her eyes. She could no longer avoid the truth. All right, she sighed, her eyes filled with disappointment. It was someone I didn't want Toan to meet. I told him not to meet with them, but he did anyway. The chief listened intently, missing no detail. Who is that person, and why did you try to stop Toan from meeting them? He asked. Toan's mother sighed, as if trying to stop the tears that were threatening to spill. It's someone I've known for a long time. He's involved with some unhealthy connections, and I didn't want Toan getting mixed up in it. But Toan wouldn't listen. He said he just wanted to help a friend. Do you know what this person did with Toan? The chief pressed. No, I don't know for sure, but I felt like something was off. She answered, her voice trembling. I just wanted to protect Toan, but I couldn't stop him. The chief stared at her for a long while, writing down everything she said. Do you realize that hiding this could get you into serious trouble? He asked, his gaze cold. Toan's mother looked up at him, tears streaming down her cheeks. I just want to protect my son. I can't lose him again." Toan's mother sat there, her hands still clenched so tightly, her knuckles turned white. The interrogation room was silent, except for the soft scratch of the chief's pen as he took notes. She looked down at the table, trying to keep calm, but inside, a storm was brewing. The chief looked up, his gaze sharp and unwavering. "Mrs. Toan," he said in a stern voice, "we've spoken with several people in the neighborhood, and they've provided us with information. One person mentioned seeing you meet a man the night before Toan disappeared. Did you meet anyone?" Toan's mother flinched, her eyes blinking rapidly, but she quickly regained her composure. I didn't meet anyone," she replied, her voice trembling, but she tried to make her words sound firm. "No one." The chief didn't let up, maintaining a long silence, as if he was analyzing every word she said. "We have evidence that you did meet a man that night. What's the reason you're hiding this meeting?" She lowered her head, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. "He was someone I didn't want Toan to meet." She sighed, her voice breaking. "He's a bad person. I told Toan to stay away from him, but he wouldn't listen. I didn't want him getting caught up in that mess." The chief made notes in his book, not reacting immediately. "Can you tell us more about this man? Why did you try to stop Toan from meeting him?" Toan's mother looked up, her eyes red from crying. "He's someone with complicated connections. I can't explain it. I was afraid Toan would get dragged into something ugly. That's why I didn't want him meeting this man." The chief kept his eyes fixed on her, continuing his questioning. "Do you know if this man is connected to Toan's disappearance? Did you try to keep this secret to protect your son?" Toan's mother took a deep breath, her head dropping like a wilting leaf. "I just wanted to protect Toan. I didn't want him to get caught up in that world. But now I realize maybe I was wrong." She choked, her voice faltering. "I've been hiding the truth because I was scared to face it." The chief continued, his voice unchanged. "Do you understand that hiding this could lead to serious trouble for you? Not cooperating with the police could ruin any chance of finding the truth." Toan's mother looked up, tears rolling down her cheeks. "I never wanted this, but I'm scared. I'm scared that if the truth comes out, not only Toan, but our whole family will have nothing left." The chief sighed, his eyes filled with resolve. "Mrs. Toan, we're not here to hurt you, but you need to understand that if you don't cooperate, not just Toan's disappearance, but a lot of other things will be overlooked. We're looking for the truth, and you need to help us." At that moment, another officer stood up and walked over, handing Toan's mother a photo. "Do you recognize this person?" the officer asked, his voice serious. Toan's mother stared at the photo for a long time, her eyes wide, her mouth hanging open, as if she couldn't believe what she was seeing. This is the man I met, but I don't want any connection with him." She quickly turned away, her hands covering her face. The chief didn't rush, allowing the officer to continue asking, "Can you tell us more about your relationship with this man? Why did you meet him the night before Toan went missing?" Toan's mother remained silent for a moment, unable to speak the truth she had been hiding. She knew that what she was about to say would change everything. Finally, she sighed, her voice hoarse. "He's someone I've known for a long time, but I didn't want Toan involved with him because of the things he's involved in. I met him that night to stop Toan from meeting him again, but I didn't know I didn't know things would turn out like this. The chief watched her, his eyes seeming to see through every lie. You know that what you've just said will have a huge impact on this case. Can you give us any other information? Anything that could help us find Toan faster? Toan's mother stopped breathing, her eyes shining with regret. I can't say everything, but I want Toan back. I don't want to lose him. She choked, her voice breaking. The chief didn't rush to end the interrogation. He knew that every answer she gave opened up more questions, and the investigation still had many layers to uncover. You need to cooperate more if you want to help us find the truth, he said, his voice firm. Toan's mother didn't respond, only lowered her head, tears falling onto the table. She knew there was no turning back now. The truth was starting to come out, and she couldn't hide it any longer. Toan's mother sat there, her face pale, her hands trembling as she gripped the edge of the table. Every question from the chief felt like a punch to her mind. She had hidden so many things, and now the price for her lies was closing in. The chief looked at her, his gaze penetrating as if he could see through every thought. You've admitted that you met this man the night before Toan went missing. You also know that Toan had a relationship with him, and you tried to stop Toan from meeting him. But do you know that this man played a key role in Toan's disappearance? Toan's mother looked up, her red eyes from crying, but she couldn't speak. Every word she wanted to say felt stuck in her throat. I don't know. I just wanted to protect Toan. She choked out, her voice weak. The chief didn't let up. He kept pressing. How did you protect your son? You wanted to protect Toan, but hid the truth. Hid important meetings, hid dangerous relationships. Do you realize that your concealment has pushed Toan into a situation with no way out? She stayed silent, tears streaming down her face. I didn't want him to go down the wrong path. I didn't want him to get involved in bad things. But I don't know what else to do. She lowered her head, her voice breaking with despair. Did you know about the actions of this man and choose to hide it out of fear? The chief's voice was like a sharp blade cutting through her silence. Were you afraid that if the truth came out, you would lose everything, including Toan? Toan's mother stopped breathing, her face blank. Yes, she admitted, her voice so low it was almost inaudible. I was afraid that if I told the truth, if I let Toan know, everything would collapse. There would be nothing left. She lowered her head, her shoulders shaking. The chief sat silently for a moment, letting her words hang in the air. Do you know that you created a pit of guilt, not just for yourself, but for Toan as well? By hiding the truth, you made everything worse, depriving Toan of the chance to resolve the issue. Toan's mother sobbed, her tears falling onto the table. I can't change it now. I can't save Toan. I just wanted to protect my son, but I was wrong. I was wrong. She looked up at the chief, her eyes clouded with pain. I hid it because I was afraid of losing him, but now I realize that hiding it only made everything worse. An officer standing nearby quietly opened his notebook. How did you try to protect your son? Do you know that the man you met is the one who dragged Toan into this mess? Toan's mother looked up, her eyes widening, as if she couldn't believe what she was hearing. No, it can't be. I didn't want Toan involved with people like him, but I didn't do enough to stop everything. She sighed, her voice on the verge of breaking. I lied because I was scared that if the truth came out, I would lose Toan forever. The chief nodded, no sympathy in his eyes. The truth will come out whether you want it to or not. But you need to face it. Toan is missing, and only you can help us find the truth. Toan's mother sobbed, but after a long moment of silence, she let go of all her concealments. I met him, and I know he's the one who dragged Toan into things he shouldn't have, but I couldn't say anything. I was afraid. She choked on her words, her voice lost in the stillness of the room. I was wrong. I can't stay silent anymore. The chief didn't say anything, just kept writing. Do you know what kind of relationship he had with Toan? Do you think this man could be the one who kidnapped Toan? Toan's mother trembled, her hands shaking uncontrollably. I don't know if he's connected to Toan's disappearance, but I know for sure that he's not a good person. I didn't want Toan to keep in contact with him. The chief sat up straight, his eyes cold. You can't change the past, but you can help us find the truth. The important thing now is for you to be honest with us. Toan is in danger, and only you can help us bring him back. Toan's mother sat there, her hands still clasped tightly, feeling like the weight of the world was falling on her shoulders. Her tears kept falling, and she had confessed everything she had hidden, but the full truth still hadn't been revealed. Even though she had been honest, the questions kept coming, each one hitting her heart like a blow. After a moment of silence, the chief continued with a calm but firm voice. You said you met this man to stop Toan from seeing him. But did you know that this man could be the last person to have seen Toan before he disappeared? Can you tell us more about their relationship? Toan's mother looked up, her eyes starting to cloud with pain. I just know that he had shady connections. I tried to stop Toan from seeing him because I was afraid it would affect his future. But I couldn't control everything. I couldn't stop him from doing what he wanted. She sighed, her voice dropping as if every word was a painful effort. I couldn't stop Toan even though I knew he was heading down the wrong path. The chief made more notes, then turned back to her. Maybe you couldn't stop Toan, but why did you stay silent about these meetings? If you had told us the truth from the start, maybe things wouldn't have gotten this bad. Toan's mother looked down at the table, her hands shaking, unable to speak further. In her heart, she had blamed herself countless times for her silence, for not telling the truth when she could. But now it was too late. Do you remember any conversations between Toan and this man? The chief asked, his voice softer now, as if he wanted her to feel this was her chance to clear up any doubts. Toan's mother looked up, her eyes full of painful memories. Yes, I remember. Once Toan told me that he helped him with his work, that they had business dealings together. I didn't like that. I didn't trust this man, but Toan wouldn't listen. He said he was just a friend, just trying to help, but I didn't believe him. The chief nodded, making more notes. So, do you know exactly what this man did with Toan? Do you think he could be involved in Toan's disappearance? Toan's mother shook her head, feeling like everything was being drowned in darkness. I don't know for sure, but I feel like he wasn't just a friend like Toan thought. There were times when I saw the look in Toan's eyes when he talked about him, and I felt like something was wrong. But I didn't dare ask more because I was afraid Toan would get angry. The chief sighed, and another officer stepped forward holding up a photo. Do you recognize this person? The officer asked, holding the photo in front of Toan's mother. Toan's mother stared at the photo for a long time. Her eyes lit up for a moment, then quickly dimmed again. This is him," she whispered, as if trying to recall memories that were fading away. "This is the man you met the night before, right?" The officer continued. Toan's mother nodded. "Yes, but I don't want any connection with him. I tried to warn Toan, but I couldn't stop it." The chief listened carefully, not missing a single detail. "You've kept quiet for too long, but now everything is slowly coming to light. These details will be crucial in helping us find the truth. Toan is missing, and we need to know what you know." Toan's mother lowered her head, her eyes clouded with tears. "I know I was wrong. I didn't protect my son like I thought I did. But now I just want to help you find him." She choked, her shoulders shaking with sobs. The chief took a deep breath, then continued in a firm voice. "Are you sure you've told us everything you know? Every detail is important, and you need to speak up if you really want to help us." Toan's mother looked up, her eyes red, and she could feel the tension in the room. "I've hidden too much," she said, her voice weak, "but I will tell everything. I won't hide anymore." Now she began recounting everything she remembered about the conversations, the meetings, the silent arguments she had witnessed in the recent days. Each statement she made was like a crack in the wall she had built for so many years. The concealment was no longer holding up, and she began to feel a sense of relief as she opened up to the truth. After a while, the chief stopped looking down at his notes. "You've helped us a lot, but this truth won't change everything immediately. Toan is still missing, and we will continue the investigation." Toan's mother nodded quietly, her eyes no longer avoiding, but filled with remorse. "I just hope Toan will come back, even if just once more. If there's anything I can do to help, I'm willing." The chief stood up and nodded. "Thank you for cooperating. We will continue the investigation and keep you updated on any progress." Toan's mother sat back in the interrogation room, feeling as if everything was falling apart, like a storm breaking from the dark sky. She couldn't change the past, but at least she had been honest and hoped that the truth would help find Toan. Toan's mother looked down at the table, her eyes clouded with tears. "I was wrong. I was wrong for not telling the truth from the beginning." She sighed, her voice breaking in despair. "I just wanted to protect my son, but now I realize my silence has put him in danger." The chief looked at her silently, not saying anything more. The interrogation continued with more questions and important testimonies. But in Toan's mother's heart, she knew that even if she revealed everything, the truth was already clear, and it could no longer be changed. And so the truth began to unravel piece by piece through every statement. Toan's mother, the CEO's mother, finally accepted her guilt, facing the mistakes she had hidden for so many years. Although she only wanted to protect her son, her silence had only made everything worse. But could Toan be saved in time? And would this truth change their lives forever? The story is still not over, and we stand in the midst of these tense turning points. Will Toan regain his memory, and will Diem meet the man she loves again? All of this is still waiting to unfold. If you find this story compelling, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the unexpected and thrilling developments in this journey. We'll continue to explore the secrets behind Toan's disappearance and uncover stories that have never been told. Keep watching and stay with us. Thank you for watching the video. See you in the next episodes. Goodbye.
Bữa cơm đã sẵn sàng, từng món ăn thơm phức được dọn ra, làm cho bầu không khí trong căn nhà trở nên ấm cúng hơn bao giờ hết. Hoài ca, Tôn Nhi, Hùng, Hà và bà Bảy ngồi quay quần bên mâm cơm. Tất cả đều cảm thấy một niềm vui nhẹ nhàng lan tỏa trong lòng. Mỗi người đều có một vai trò trong bữa ăn, nhưng quan trọng nhất là họ đang cùng nhau chia sẻ những khoảnh khắc quý giá, là họ đang cùng nhau là một gia đình. Hoài ca nhìn quanh cảm thấy lòng mình ấm áp khi thấy những người thân yêu bên cạnh. Bà Bảy vừa hiền chăm sóc con tình uống cháo, trong khi Hùng và Hà chuyện trò vui vẻ. Tôn Nhi mặc dù còn nhỏ nhưng cũng cảm thấy được tình yêu thương của mọi người. Cậu bé tươi cười tình cảm nghịch ngợm làm cả nhà phải bật cười. Cả căn nhà nhỏ dường như tràn đầy sức sống và hạnh phúc khi mọi lo toan căng thẳng trước đó giờ chỉ còn sự bình yên. Hoài ca nhìn Hùng, đôi mắt cô lấp lánh niềm hạnh phúc. Nhưng là người bạn đời và người luôn bên cạnh cô trong những thời khắc khó khăn nhất, giờ đây lại là người chia sẻ vui cùng cô và Bảy. Cũng nhìn họ với ánh mắt đầy yêu thương, cảm thấy hạnh phúc khi cả gia đình đoàn tụ sau bao ngày xa cách. Mặc dù cuộc sống không ít lần thử thách họ, nhưng giờ đây trong bữa ăn nhỏ gia đình không còn là biểu tượng của sự sum vầy, sự đoàn kết. Mọi người cùng nhau ăn, trò chuyện và tình cảm. Những tiếng cười vang lên và không khí trở nên ấm áp. Hoài ca ngồi đó trong lòng cảm thấy bình yên và hạnh phúc, vì cuối cùng cô đã tìm thấy nơi mình thuộc về, đó chính là gia đình.